Hello and welcome to the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada. Today we are enjoying the great outdoors. Our restrictions have been lifted a bit and the ATV trails are open, so we are enjoying a fun time. Let me show you what we've been up to. Hello, welcome to the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada, and it's actually pretty nice out this evening, so I thought I'd come out here on my deck and take advantage of the good weather while we have it. We haven't had a lot of it as of late. We had a good stretch in May and then all of a sudden it kind of went downhill from there. So today is June 10th, I believe, and a few weeks ago, we got word that we were going back to work. So I have been back to work for 2 weeks and I have one more week left before we break for summer. So it was kind of nerve-wracking going back to work, not kind of knowing what was going to happen and what the protocols, etc. were going to be, but it's been good so far. I'm happy to see everyone again. So this week, my daughter just finished her last week of online learning on Friday. And I still have one more week of work, and she actually has a moving up ceremony. She is in grade 5, so she'll be moving on to middle school. And because they can't have a ceremony or anything, they're kind of having a drive up, receive your certificate, get a picture, and head on out. So that's going to be on Monday. So we're just wrapping up kind of the last couple of things of school before we start our summer break. So let me show you what I've been up to. Hasn't been a whole lot in the last 2 weeks since I started back to work, but before then I had been a crafting fiend. So I'm going to show you what I've been up to. to show you first what I have been working on. Let me put my tea down. Let's start with the knitting. In my Eldenwood craft bag, this side's my favorite because this side has the robin on it. And the blue tit, I love the blue tit as well. These are a pair of socks, and I haven't gotten very far on them, but I did want to start them and get them on the go. This is actually, should show you the yarn first. I've got two different yarns in here. This is the yarn I'm using. I bet I didn't write down what this is, but I believe it's skein. I'll have to look it up. I had knit a shawl out of this. It wasn't a shawl, it was like a shawlette. It was when those very skinny shawls were in fashion, like long and skinny. And I haven't been using it as a shawl. It's just, I don't know, I liked knitting it and I liked it, but it wasn't very me. It's kind of, has a picot edge. I don't know. That's not really my style. So anyway, when I saw this shawl kind of sitting there and not doing much, I thought, that would look really pretty as a pair of socks that I have a pattern for. So these are the Tea at Downton socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. You'll notice I've been knitting quite a few of her patterns. I picked up a couple when she had a sale when we all went into lockdown. So this is the colorway. Let me show you. How pretty. It's not gonna focus. There we go. It's browns, pinks, tans, and there's even a little bit of purple in there. It's really pretty. So I thought that would be the perfect to pair up with a leftover that I had from a different shawl. And it looks like it's just one plain color, but it's not. It's got hints of gray in it and cream and like a tanny color. So let me show you what I've gotten it up so far. These are going to be so pretty. Goodness, I've got a yarn tangle going on today. So there's the plain cuff, and my needle's not at a great spot to show you the pattern. This is what I've got so far. So these are going to be super pretty, but it's a pattern that I kind of have to think about while I'm knitting it, so I don't do it like as evening knitting and I don't do it as TV knitting either. I kind of have to watch what I'm doing the whole way through. But that's a start. So, funny story about using this yarn. About a month into lockdown, or since the last time I've podcast actually, I went through all of my sock yarn and I organized it all into one bin. I have 3 bins of stash, and one is usually sweaters, one is socks, and one is single skeins or extras. So I went through my socks stash and I have it all in Ziploc bags inside this big tote, so I was condensing and putting together and making more room, and I came across this yarn. Now this is Tanis Fiber Arts, and it's leftovers from a pair of socks that I knit. I think it was a test knit I knit for her. Smokestack socks. I ended up giving the socks to my mom, but I had this leftover and I thought, ooh, those would make a pretty Tea at Downton socks too. Here we go. So I have this one as well, so I didn't know which one to start with, but I might make another pair out of this because I think this would be really pretty. It's grays and purples. I'm not sure what colorway it is. I'd have to look it up again, but it's her cashmere sock base. So that's maybe Tea at Downton number 2. So that's my first whip. And the only other thing that I've been working on lately is a giant whip that I have wanted to finish for quite some time. And I thought, actually, Martuska Knits, I think that's how you pronounce it, on Instagram, she was having a crochet along, and we were trying to get a whip done in 21 days. And I thought, well, if I break this down and I do 2 colored rows a day, then I could probably get it done by the end of this 21 days. Well, I'm a little behind, but I'm still going strong. This is the only thing I've been working on. I haven't been knitting on anything. I've just been doing trying to get my two colored rows in a day. Sometimes it's only one because each colored row is actually 2 rows together. So to get the 2 done, it's actually 4 rows. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But let me show you my whip. So this is the Dunes blanket, or June's blanket as I would say. This is a pattern from Attic 24, and I had a pack that I got from, I'm gonna say Love Crafts, or maybe it was Love Knitting at the time. I think it was Love Knitting. Anyway, I got a blanket pack from them, and I've had it just sitting, waiting to make a blanket with. But I didn't really like all of the colors in it, so I kind of picked what I liked out. And this is the colorway that I came up with. So from the white to the white is 1 repeat, and then it starts again. So when I picked this up to really go at it again, I had gotten to, I think, here. So 1 repeat and this. And since then, I have done another repeat. You see all my ends I need to weave in. And another repeat. So I'm doing well. So I have 1, 2, 3 full repeats, almost 4. I have 2 more colors before I'm at 4 full repeats. And I think I need to go, I think I want it to be 6 repeats. It does cover my legs and the floor, but just basically to my waist. So I want it to be a little bit longer before I finish it off. But it's a shell pattern. Ooh, isn't that pretty? And while I do love crocheting it, I'm ready to be done. These are all my ends. You can see that I need to weave in since I restarted it again. I was taking the time to weave in before, but when I started doing the 2 colors a day, I kind of just forgot about that, and I said I'll weave them in at the end. I do want to do some kind of a border on it, but I need to have a look at some other borders and see what my options are. Yeah, because this is only my 2nd crochet blanket ever. So I have another crochet blanket that's a whip as well. And so this is another reason why I wanted to get this one finished, was because it's a linen stitch blanket using leftovers, and I want to use the leftover colors of this in it because I'm getting low on colors, and I don't want it to be colorful and then very muted. I want it to kind of be spread out. So once I get this finished, hopefully I'll have some colors left over and I can use those in the blanket as well. I am using a 4.5 millimeter hook. I think these are the clovers. They're just from Michael's, but I like these ones the best. They're comfy, squishy. They work best for me. So that's my giant whip that I'm hoping to finish. Originally, I was hoping to finish it by the time I finished work for the summer, but that's next week. That's next Friday, and I don't think I'm gonna get it done by next Friday, but that's okay. I'll just keep chugging along and it'll be done, and I'll be able to use it for the summer. I'm hoping. So that's that. Other things that I have been working on, I've been painting everything in sight, and I don't mean like walls, I mean spray painting things. We have some wooden planters on the deck. I got some new deck furniture, so I wanted it all to kind of look nice once I got all the furniture together. So I had some planters, wooden planters that my dad made me, and I had painted them black before, but they were getting kind of chipped just from being out in the winter, which I shouldn't have left them out in the winter to begin with, but I did, and they started to chip, so I spray painted those again black, and those have my yellow flowers in them that you can see. We have a little old-fashioned metal mailbox by our front door, and that was, I don't even know, it was supposed to be like a goldy color at one time, but it had turned like a rusty brown, so I spray painted that black. And actually I got this basket, let me show you. One of our friends messaged me, she's retired, and she said, I have a bunch of this yarn that I would like to get rid of, would you like it? And while I thought, I don't really want any more yarn, I said, yeah, either I'll use it at school, and then I forgot that my niece knits as well, and she's getting pretty hardcore into the knitting. So I said, sure, I will take it, and if I don't use it, then I will pass it on to the school. So some of the yarn came in this little basket, which was adorable. Now when I got it, it was kind of like a whitewash, like you could see the color underneath, and it had a baby blue strip all the way around it, which kind of dated it. I'll try and insert a picture if I can. So I decided I was going to spray paint it. So I spray painted it white, and this cute little basket is now housing all of my sock scraps. Now it doesn't have all of them in there right now, but I just have some. But how cute is that? So I have it on my sewing table, and I'm just gonna pop all my sock scraps in there, and then I'll know where they are, and I'll be able to just look through them when I need to and pick out what I want to use. But I thought that was super cute. So I sent her a picture. I said, your basket got a makeover, and she loved it, the fact that I was still using it. So there's been painting, and we've been cleaning out. We're going to be doing some renos over the summer. So I've been cleaning out our playroom area, trying to get rid of some toys, and going through all of my not finished projects. Yeah, I have a problem of not finishing projects. So I started to finish some sewing projects that I had going. I don't have anything complete yet, but I hope to show you something in the next episode. But I have had this blanket going for a while, and I wanted to get it finished too. Now, it only needed me to go to Michael's and get an extra ball of yarn for it. The issue was this yarn is a seasonal item, and it was discontinued, and they didn't have any more of my color left. So I ended up having to cut it shorter than I thought, but hopefully I don't scrape the mic with this. This is one of those giant blankets. Now, this isn't roving, this is acrylic. I think it's loops and threads. I think it was called Free Spirit. Anyway, I used 3 balls of this gray yarn, or roving, whatever you want to call it. And I thought 3 was going to be enough, but it wasn't quite enough. And when I went back to get another one, there wasn't any. So I held off, and I saw that they had other colors in it, and I should have got just another color that could have been like a stripe at the top, like a navy blue or a mustard yellow. Those are my colors anyway. But then when I went back to get anything, they were sold out of everything. So I had to come home, take 1 row out, and then bind off again. So this is, I don't want to say arm knitting because I just did it with my hands. And if I can find the video, I took a video a long time ago of me actually making this. If I can find the video, I'll pop it in. But it was pretty fun to make. Yeah, I think I'm going to use it as at the end of my bed, because it's not really, that's how wide it is right there. And then it's pretty long lengthwise. But yeah, it was fun to make. I just really wanted to make one and say I've made one. But yeah, it was fun. Maybe it'll be an outdoor blanket here for when I'm on the deck. It's pretty heavy and pretty cozy, but we'll see. That's another project that I finished that had just been sitting there. It had been sitting there for months. I can remember when I bought this yarn, so I'm glad I got it finished, and now I can hopefully use it for something. Now, would you like to see my FOs? Let's talk about some FOs and what I finished. All right, so last time I was talking to you about my crunkled socks that I was working on. I ended up finishing them. These are potato chip knitting socks. Holy moly. I just couldn't wait to get them finished, and you know what? I have another whip because I started another pair of them. As soon as I finished these ones, I thought, I wonder what it would look like in a self-striping yarn. So I started a pair in self-striping too, but I forgot to bring them over. Anyway, tangent. These are the Crinkled Socks, again by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. They create such a fun pattern on here, and they're really fun to knit. It's a really nice repeat, and you can remember it in your head. You don't have to keep looking at something all the time. So that's fun. And the yarn is Sweet Skein of Mine, Donut Kill My Vibe. It's the first kind of speckledy yarn that I had worked with. Now this sock seems to be more speckled than this one, just the way it came out in the skein. But that's okay. I'm not fussed about that. But those are super cute. Love them. That's my first FO. So then after I finished those, I went back to casting on another pair of scrappy socks from all the scraps that I got from my coworker. So this is the second. Of course, once I started them, I was a maniac until I got them done. And I actually started the second sock at the same time as the first sock, so I could make sure that the colors were all lining up and that I had enough of each color to kind of continue on. It was a little bit of an obsession. So, get this other one on the blocker. These are my Felici, Knit Picks Felici socks. These are all Felici leftovers. And I kind of went with a pastel-y, ice creamy color. So I started with just plain white Knit Picks. This is a colorway. This is a colorway. This is part of a colorway. This is a colorway. These are chunked up pieces of colorways. So I started out really pastel-y, and then some of them, when I got to here, it just turned really bright, and I didn't want it to be kind of like pastel-y on the top and bright on the bottom. So I was trying to kind of blend it a little bit more with these more neutral colors. But I think they look cute. You'd never know that they were pieced together. Yeah, so that's my second pair of my scrappy socks. And again, Knit Picks Felici in all kinds of different colorways, just scraps. So after I had finished those socks, I dug into the scraps again. And I finished another pair of socks. Now these ones, I wanted to do, after I had finished those socks, I had this scrap from her bag of scraps that I had. I had it in my mind, and I kept thinking about that ball, and I woke up one morning and it was the first thing that I thought of. I was like, I have to knit a pair of socks with that yarn. So I did, and there wasn't enough of the scrap. I thought I was going to be able to knit a pair of scrappy ankle socks with the whole scrap that I had, but that didn't turn out. So here's what happened. This is the scrap that I was telling you about, that I kept thinking of. It looks to be an opal. I think it's an opal. So I started with that, and then I had some kind of green colors, and I tried to, I'm almost done, okay?
Okay, bye.
Okay. So I added some of these green colors in, and I tried to stretch out this skein this scrap as much as I could by putting it in at different points. And then I just pulled out different colors in my stash that I thought really went with them. So I pulled out this reddish orange color and I added it in at different points. And I pulled out the mustard because I had solids of that. And and I put some navy with it. There was navy in the first one, that's why. There was a navy stripe in this one, so I went with that. And as I was knitting these, I kind of thought to myself, this looks like PEI. And people will probably look at these and think, this is not PEI. But when I was knitting them, it was like it was reminiscent of the fields. So you would have the red dirt, because PEI's potatoes are all in red dirt. Then you have like the cornfields, and you have the green fields, more red dirt, and the ocean that surrounds Prince Edward Island, and then that kind of brown dirt. I just thought that these reminded me of driving through Prince Edward Island and seeing all the different colors in the fields. So these are my PEI socks. And these are my shorties. Not shorties, but smaller cuffs. And yeah, I like them. Yeah, I think, see this is actually all one skein right here. All the way down to here, and then I realized, I don't have enough to finish it. So that's when I kind of took chunks of it out. And this one's a little different because I started the cuff and then I started chunking it up as well. But that's okay. I'm not fussed that these aren't matchy-matchy like my other ones. They are what they are, and they will keep my feet warm. So 3 pairs of socks, a big giant blanket, and part of a crochet blanket. I think I did pretty well. Do I have anything else to tell you? Where's my tea? I do. I made a purchase. I have been very good at using up my stash as of late, and I was still on that kick until I went to the Great Canadian Dollar Store, and it all went downhill from there. For those of you that don't know, the Great Canadian Dollar Store here in Canada sells Briggs & Little yarn. Now, usually they don't have a great selection when I go, so I just kind of, it's the same old colors and I bypass, but this time when I went to the Great Canadian Dollar Store, they had the colors that I wanted, and so I bought them. So I came out with this. This is their rag colorway. Now this is two-toned. Show you up close. You can see it's like a beigey gray. I think that's maybe their sheep's gray and then just a natural color. But I loved it, and I thought, oh, that would make a beautiful sweater for summer. So I bought 5 skeins of it. It's 220 yards. They smell so shippy. 220 yards a skein. But the only thing is it's heritage. Heritage is an Aran weight, and I was going to knit another weekender sweater with this. This is what I thought. The first weekender that I knit was with Ultra Alpaca, and it was super drapey, and I loved the drape of it. Now this one is an Aran weight, which is heavier than what's called for, and I don't think it would have that same drape, especially if I had to go down needle size to get gauge. I know the smallest size is pretty huge. Not huge, but it's big for me. Like I couldn't go down. I've been knitting the smallest size anyway, so I can't go down any more sizes. So I may have to rethink that. I may have to knit something else with this, but I just see this as such a beautiful colorway for summer night sweater. So I didn't only stop there because they had a really nice other colorway that I really wanted. So this one is again heritage, and it's called Grape. I don't know why it's called Grape because it's not purple. It is this beautiful kaleidoscope of all these different colors, and I hope this shows up on the screen. It's got green and blue and red, and there's a bit of purple and navy blue. It's just a really beautiful, oh, there we go. You can kind of see the different flecks in it. This is what Briggs & Little does so well. They just marl these colors all together, and they look so beautiful. There's another one, when I went to their shop before, there's another one, I think it's called Mallard, and it's that green that's in this. that mallard green color, and then it's got all of the flecks of all the different colors in it too. I really want that one to knit a sweater as well, but I think I need to use my stash first before I buy any more. But I do love this one. So I've got a sweater's worth of this too. So again, Aran weight. Need to find some patterns. If you think of any Aran weight sweater patterns that would be good for these, do let me know. Maybe I'm looking for kind of summery patterns right now, but I don't know, we'll see. My sweater that I was showing you last time, my ridgely pulley, is on timeout. I had a bit of a kerfuffle with it. I finished the body, I finished one sleeve, and when I tried it on, I realized it was a potato sack on me. While it didn't look too bad without the sleeves, when I added the sleeve was massive for the size of the pattern, and then I realized that this down here was just way too wide for what I would want it to be. I tend to look like a potato, like I'm wearing a potato sack when I wear something that's really oversized, that it just doesn't suit my body type. So I tore the sleeve out. Did I tear the sleeve out yet? I'm pretty sure I tore the sleeve out, and I ripped right back to here. Here fit really well for my size, so I kept that. And so I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to do less stitches and some more decreases so that it's not so flared. I know it was like a bell shape to begin with, so I'm going to do it more of a straighter body. And then I took out a lot of stitches under the arms for the size that I was knitting, and I'm just gonna knit smaller sleeves for it. But I'm still mad at it, so I'm just gonna stick with my crochet right now until I finish that. And then I'll tackle it again because I wanna finish that sweater before I start another one. So, I think that's all that I've been up to. Reading has been pretty slow right now. I probably do have some books that I have read that I haven't told you about, but I don't have it here with me. And because I read so many one after the other, I have to kind of remember, like usually I read my review on it to remember what it was about. Yeah. Oh, I have been watching though. I love British TV, go figure, right? And I was looking at getting BritBox, but BritBox is so dang expensive, especially when you have Netflix and all those other ones. But I really wanted to watch Our Girl, it was a BBC series with Michelle Keegan from Coronation Street. And I follow her on Instagram, and I had seen that she was filming new episodes, and I was like, I really want to watch that, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Finally, I found it online to stream, and I've been watching that. So the first actual series number 1, was with Lacey Turner, who was character from EastEnders. Now, she was a cracker of an army girl. I really enjoyed her as an army girl. She just fit the personality really well. But she only did 1 season. And then Michelle Keegan came in. And while she's still good, I really like Lacey Turner better, I think. Yeah, so I'm almost on I think I'm on the 5th season. And the 5th season is the last season that I think that Michelle Keegan is in. And they're looking at bringing in Jacqueline Jossa. She's also from EastEnders, in to be the replacement. But anyway, if you haven't watched it, it's an army series. Girl who doesn't know what to do with her life joins the army, and it takes you on their tours to Afghanistan, to India, all these different places, and kind of what they get up to. It's a drama series, and it's a really good series, and I really enjoyed that. So if you have any other series that you know of, I would love to get into something else, because I know that I'm gonna chew through that last season. There's only 5 episodes per season, so in 5 nights I'll be finished it and looking for something else. So if you have any good, especially British series, maybe that's been on TV over there now that I wouldn't necessarily have heard of yet, I'm always open to that. But yeah, Hopefully I'll have some book reviews for you next time, and a finished sweater and a finished blanket, and I'm gonna hope for all that. If not, it'll be what it'll be. I hope you are enjoying your making, and I hope you're getting out in some beautiful weather if you are having it. And I'm gonna finish my tea and go see what my kids are up to. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.